Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you watch this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. Just want to take a quick second and say thank you, channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank all of you who've subscribed to the channel. Thank all of you who just come in and check out my knife and EDC content. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Today, I was going to go through, with EDC fixed blades, I do a lot of different types of carries. I like to have an EDC fixed blade with me on the daily because I've really taken to using them. And I'm one of the guys that likes the smaller EDC fixed blades. And so what I wanted to do today is talk about, in my collection, the top ones that I carry horizontally or scout right at my appendix. So what I actually do is, this is right to the right of my belt buckle so that I get no printing. I can't wear it, of course, when I tuck my shirt in, but it literally rides right to probably 1 o'clock if my belt buckle's 12 or maybe 12:30. So this is going to be the biggest of those knives, and this is a little knife from Brisa. If I'm not mistaken, they are a Finnish company, made in Finland. This is a little knife in RWL 34 with the micarta handle. It is a full, when I say full size, kind of a thicker knife with a pretty beefy grind. Even though it's a tall flat, it's going to be very slicey. Most of the EDC knives that I've picked up, with the exception of a few, are set up to be just, sorry guys, I've got some bugs being attracted to my light. So if you see a moth, I apologize for that. But anyway, the Brisa is a slicey little knife. It's going to be one of the bigger ones in my appendix carries because most of my larger knives I carry as a pocket dropper. This little guy is going to come in at right around 5.5 inches with a 2.5 inch blade and a little over a 2.25 inch handle. It does have a lanyard loop or lanyard tube, and it's got 3 inches from right here to right here. So if you put on a little short tail lanyard, it would of course give you more grip. I love this little knife. I don't get to carry it enough, but it's definitely one of my primary appendix carry knives. The retention in the sheath is great. It's called the Brisa Scara or Scara 60. Very economical knife. I want to say this was under $120 when I picked it up in the micarta with the G10 lanyard. Now, of course, you can get them with different handle materials, but this is one of my top appendix carry EDC fixed blades. It would also be a great knife if I set it up for a pocket dropper, right? But these are just ones that work very well to the right of my belt buckle, kind of at the 12:30, 1 o'clock position. Coming next, we have a little banger. Now this knife is, for all practical purposes, 100% invisible when I put it on my belt. I carry it right where I carry all of my appendix carry knives, which are in the 12 o'clock position, 12:30. This little guy is so small that when it is on my belt, I don't realize that it's there. It is 100% retained in this sheath. It is a small, this one's a drop point. This is the MKM Mikro, MIKRO 2, or 1, excuse me. The one's the drop point. It is a little piece of M390. It's made by MKM. It's a Vox design. It is perfectly balanced on my finger. This is one of the knives that I should be able to link. I should be able to link several of them, but this guy's available at Amazon and several other places. I got too much paper. Short blade, but sharpened up like an absolute champ. For opening packages or just having a little ripper, this little guy, although it's small, is a fantastic EDC fixie. So much so that I bought the Micro 1 first, and I also own the Micro 2, which is the fixed blade version of it. So, or the sheep's foot version of it. So it's going to be a good bit smaller than the Civivi Baby Banter. It's going to be the smallest or shortest knife in the collection that I'm showing today at 4 1/4, 2-inch cutting area, 2-inch blade, and then from this back you've got 2.5 inches from right here to right here. However, you could put a short tail and get a little bit more grip. However, 3 fingers is perfect for me on this knife. And again, you could carry this knife a lot of different ways. I just find that carrying it right at the front of my belt buckle, appendix style, is perfect. It doesn't print, doesn't show at all, and it's very easy to get not only out of the sheath, but back into the sheath. So moving on, we have a little different direction here. This is kind of a rare one that I will carry from time to time, and it can be carried when I was wearing dress shirts, kind of as a ballpoint pen, but since I'm wearing t-shirts, doing a lot of work from home, I like to carry this in my back pocket. It's a little tight and it's hard to get an ulti clip on here, but it carries great right to the right of my belt as an appendix carry. Comes in and out of the sheath super well. This is my Amsler Tools Mini. I've also got a standard that's a couple of inches longer. This one is a solid little piece of MagnaCut with this hand ground Tonto blade. It does have an 80s finish on it, where my S35VN standard is just raw S35. I'm not getting the... But when you find the actual short bevel, it is super slicey. Both blades, whoops, have bite. It is a pokey stabby in the greatest way. But just a fantastic, small, not by any means a primary carry. Every time I carry an appendix carry knife, it's always a secondary carry. But for a box opener, to cut out labels, for really most of my daily tasks, this little knife works great. It's USA made. I did never really considered it as an appendix carry until I started carrying it. I just had to tighten this down a little bit so I wouldn't get any movement. The retention in the sheath is perfect. You don't even feel it because it weighs nothing. This knife is the smallest of the Amsler Hurricanes. Again, smaller than that Baby Banter. So you can tell these knives are almost invisible. It's going to come in at 4 1/4 with an 1 1/8" blade with an 1 1/8" cutting area. And it comes with these extra bands in case you want to, I guess, give yourself a better grip. But I use this to cut out detail stuff, open boxes primarily, and that's about it. Great little knife. Amsler Hurricane. I like it so much. I got 2. I got the standard as well. Carry it as a neck knife, but it's a great knife. I thought about not even putting this one in, because this one is actually going to be a little bit bigger than the little Scara 60. But this is another MKM. This is the next size up from the Micro. This is the Makro, and this is the Makro 2 because it's the sheep's foot, not the drop point. It carries fantastically as an appendix carry knife. It is also a Vox design. It is also perfectly balanced or centered. You've got more grip. Let's look at them together. And again, if this was a Makro 1, it would have the drop point just like this. If this was a Micro 2, it would have the sheep's foot. But you'll notice they're very similar in the layout. They're very similar in the way they're designed to kind of be comfortable in the hand, and comfortable in the hand they really are. This knife, like a lot of Jesper Voxnez designs, fits the hand perfectly. It is, again, perfectly balanced where that finger choil is. You've got light jimping back here and perfect jimping here on the blade. This knife is also super slicey. I mean, a laser. And both of these knives have been sharpened by me, and they sharpen up great. Could do a little better with what they leave for a sharpening choil, but I can always cut one in if I need to. It's a fantastic little chunk of M390. You can still find these around, the macros and the micros. They come with a really nice leather sheath. These are the Makro and Micro carry kits. They're an extra purchase. They're about 35 bucks. However, you don't just get the Kydex sheath. You get a branded ulti-clip in case you like to carry it pocket dropper. You get 2 leather straps in case you like to carry it appendix or on your belt. And you also get leather cordage in case you want to carry it as a neck knife. So I bought the little Kydex kits for all of mine just so I'd have those options. But the leather sheaths are very good too. They're just not set up for this type of carry. So this is the MKM Makro, a great knife. It's going to be smaller than the Bug Out, but it's going to be larger than our Baby Banter, which means it is going to come in larger than our Scara 60, but not by much. It's 6.5 inches with a 3-inch blade, 3-inch cutting area, and an increased 3 3/4 from right here to the back here. And again, you've got a lanyard hole in case you want to give yourself a little tail, which the last knife, my favorite, most recent and most carried appendix knife, has one, and I can absolutely see the advantage. But this is the MKM Makro 2 because it's a sheep's foot. Moving on, we come to an amazing little knife that was gifted to me by a maker who no longer makes knives. This is Servant Knives. This is the Simpleton. There is not just rumor, but on his personal Facebook page that he is going to start making knives again. This Simpleton is a phenomenal little knife. It's probably the thickest, beefiest knife in my little appendix carry group. It is 3V. It has got, let's just take a look. It starts out with 0.185 stock. So under 1/4 of an inch blade stock on this 3V, which makes this little knife, it's a 3-finger knife. Also has a lanyard tube if you want to make it to give it a little tail. But with this jimping, you've got these 5 really strong jimps, and you've got this little knob that holds your hand perfectly. This would probably stab through a car door. It is so thick. It is so robust. It is a strong little knife. Now, it's not very thin behind the edge. I put it on the TS Prof. I think this is like 19.5 inches or 19.5 degrees. Guys, it got so sharp. Burred up so well. Whoops. As I jack it up. But super pokey, super stabby, and super, I would say, not overbuilt, but chunky. This is more tactical, hunting, skinning, still small. I only need 1 strap with this. It's 100%, that was me whacking the table. But it is not leaving this sheath without help I love this little knife. I think it's absolutely elegant in a very simple way, hence it's called the Simpleton. But I love the swedge. I love the rustic finishing of the blade. I love the rocky G10 handles, and I love the thickness of the stock. So this little guy, the Servant Knives Simpleton, is a mad winner on the Appendix carry. So we get down to a USA made, very economical knife that I bought just to check out, not knowing how well I would like it. I've got another Tops knife, the Tops Bull Trout, but this is the Tops Hawke. This is the little hunk of tool steel made in the USA with a nice granulated finish. Very simple handle with an area to put a smaller or a lanyard through. It is compact, yet you've got a thicker G10 handle than some of the smaller knives. USA made, very, very secure jimping. I would call it a harder use knife, even though it's small. I have not tried to strike a ferro rod, and I doubt you could, especially with that coating. But it's got a really nice edge. I have not sharpened this one up yet, so this will be our factory edge. And I ordered this from Amazon, from the Top store. I want to say it was well under $100, but I want to say it was like $83. So you've got a little bit thicker grind. I would grind this back or rebevel it to maybe 19.5, and I'm sure it would be even slicier. But very slicey, very pokey, very small, light, and nimble. So for a secondary carry that I carry on my Appendix, which is 12:30, 1 o'clock, this little knife fills the bill. It's got great retention on that first bolt. I've just got a single horizontal strap. It's going to be a little bit shorter than our Baby Banter, which is going to throw it in that 5 1/8 range. And if you measure the blade from the front of the handle, you're 2.5 inches with a 2 1/4 inch cutting area and a grip of 3 inches. So 3 inches from here to here. However, by putting a little tail on it, which I'm going to show you here on my favorite, most recent special one, I can see how these little short snake tails can give you more grip. The jimping's fantastic in both this and in the Servant. It just really holds your finger. And this is a great minimalist little banger should you need it. And this is the Tops Hawke. Great little knife. Economical little USA made knife. Then we come to the next to the last, and I won't show you all three. I do have 3 of these Jakeb Creates Chikadees, which was my original quest to get into small fixed blades. I bought a couple of inexpensive Tucsons to make sure I'd carry them, and then I picked this up from Lefty EDC. It's got a Kyle Coonley edge on it. This one's in Magna Cut. Before this one, I picked up an S90V from Honey Bear that he was nice enough to sell me. And then I was able to pick up a 20CV with a micarta handle from River's Edge Cutlery. So this is a small little 5-inch knife. Very, very simple, very understated. Really cool when you take this, because when I sharpen it, I take these handles off. And on one side, you've got the blade steel of whichever knife it is deeply embedded into the handle. And on the other side, you've got the Jakeb Creates Maker's Mark. They all come with these little Kydex sheaths, which retain the knives fantastically. Like I say, I have 3. They're not interchangeable because they're made for each knife, but they fit great. And Kyle put this edge on, which is as therapeutically slicey as you could want. So for a small knife, a small Appendix carry fixed blade, I am a huge fan in Jakeb Creates Chikadees. They're not the most inexpensive USA made knives, but they're handmade knives. They're made by him. They're special to me. I don't know how many more I'll collect, but I'm kind of into the blade steel thing. I love the little knife. I carry them several different ways, but primarily this guy is an appendix riding fiend. Great retention, very light. You don't even realize it's there, and it's just a winner. Which brings us to my most recent, the one I've been carrying pretty much constantly. This is my Aries EDC Petal, gifted to me by Brother Paul Mills, made by Scott at Aries EDC. ADCRV blade, nice acid etched. I wish I could show you the scales if I didn't have such bright light there. It's glow carbon fiber with glow G10 pin with a lanyard, and this is the type of tail that I was talking about. So this is a 3-finger knife, just like all the other knives I was showing you, but with that tail, it really gives you more to hold on to. So before, where I wasn't the lanyard guy, I can really see why. And he also had a lanyard on the Bloom, which is a larger knife that I was able to try out, and it makes a difference. It just gives you more to hold on to. These little knives are exquisite. Scott does a fantastic job. I'm a huge fan, and I'm blessed that somebody did something super kind for me, Brother Paul, and this little knife showed up, happened to show up on my birthday. I was blown away by it, not just the gesture, but the knife itself. This is the little petal is the one I'd kind of always wanted because it was his smallest offering. Therapeutically slicey, perfectly ground. You've got the Aries EDC logo right there in the blade. You've got absolutely no displacement between those beautiful scales and the full tang of this little knife. It is just an absolute winner. So when I look at appendix carry knives, guys, it's not just because of the sheath the way I've got it configured, because I change these guys out a lot based on what I'm carrying, based on how I'm carrying it, but I've come over the years to find out that there's several, not several, but a bunch that are just really set up for me as an appendix carry knife, which is not something that I'm big into. I don't carry a lot of my knives appendix. I'm more of a pocket dropper guy. However, all these knives work fantastically well. I don't realize they're there when I'm wearing them, but they do their job. They're easy not only to get out of the sheath, but to get back in the sheath. And to me, when you're trying to make a cut or get something done, in and out, which kind of sounds bad, but quickly is a good thing. So guys, I wanted to share those with you. I think we've got 8 there, and those would be my top 8 that I carry appendix style. I've still got to do the video to finish up my fixed blade collection and my collection videos. I've not done the final 2, which are going to be the smaller fixed blades that live in here with me. But guys, thank you for watching. If you're still here, I appreciate you. If you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button. But most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.